Inception is a 2010 science fiction heist thriller film written, co-produced, and directed by Christopher Nolan, and co-produced by Emma Thomas. The film stars Leonardo DiCaprio as a professional thief who steals information by infiltrating the subconscious, and is offered a chance to have his criminal history erased as payment for a task seemingly impossible. Inception, the implantation of another person's idea into a target's subconscious. The ensemble cast additionally includes Ellen Page, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Ken Watanabe, Tom Hardy, Dileep Rao, Cillian Murphy, Tom Berenger, and Michael Caine. After the 2002 completion of Insomnia, Nolan presented to Warner Brothers a written 80-page treatment about a horror film envisioning dream stealers based on lucid dreaming. Emphasizing on professional-scale experience, Nolan retired the project and instead worked on 2005's Batman Begins, 2006's The Prestige, and The Dark Knight in 2008. The treatment was revised over 6 months and was purchased by Warner in February 2009. Inception was filmed in 6 countries, beginning in Tokyo in June 19 and ending in Canada in November 22. Its official budget was $160 million, split between Warner Brothers and Legendary. Nolan's reputation and success with The Dark Knight helped secure the film's $100 million in advertising expenditure. Inception's premiere was held in London on July 8, 2010. Its wide release to both conventional and IMAX theaters began on July 16, 2010. A box office success, Inception has grossed over $800 million worldwide. The home video market also had strong results, with $68 million in DVD and Blu-ray sales. Inception opened to acclaim from critics, who praised its story, score, and ensemble cast. It won 4 Academy Awards for Best Cinematography, Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects, and was nominated for 4 more: Best Picture, Best Original Score, Best Art Direction, and Best Original Screenplay. Plot: Dominic "Dom" Cobb and Arthur are extractors, who perform corporate espionage using an experimental military technology to infiltrate the subconscious of the targets and extract valuable information through a shared dream world. The latest target, Japanese businessman Sato, reveals that he arranged the mission himself to test Cobb for a seemingly impossible job, planting an idea in a person's subconscious, or Inception, to break up the energy conglomerate of ailing competitor Morris Fisher. Sato wants Cobb to convince Fisher's son and heir, Robert, to dissolve his father's company. In return, Sato promises to use his influence to clear Cobb of a murder charge, allowing Cobb to return home to his children. Cobb accepts the offer and assembles his team. Eames, a conman and identity forger; Yusuf, a chemist who concocts a powerful sedative for a stable dream within a dream strategy; Ariadne, an architecture student tasked with designing the labyrinth of the dream landscapes, recruited with the help of Cobb's father-in-law, Professor Stephen Miles. While dream-sharing with Cobb, Ariadne learns his subconscious houses an invasive projection of his late wife Mal. When the elder Fisher dies in Sydney, Robert Fisher accompanies the body on a 10-hour flight back to Los Angeles, which the team uses as an opportunity to sedate and take Fisher into a shared dream. At each dream level, the person generating the dream stays behind to set up a kick that will be used to awaken the other sleeping team members from the deeper dream level. To be successful, These kicks must occur simultaneously at each dream level, a fact complicated due to the nature of time which proceeds much faster in each successive level. The first level is Yusuf's dream of a rainy Los Angeles. The team abducts Fisher, but they are attacked by armed projections from Fisher's subconscious, which has been trained to defend against extraction. The team takes Fisher and a wounded Sato to a warehouse where Cobb reveals that while dying in the dream would normally wake Sato up, the powerful sedatives needed to stabilize the multi-level dream will instead send a dying dreamer into limbo, a world of infinite subconscious from which escape is difficult and a dreamer risks forgetting they are in a dream. Despite these setbacks, the team continues with the mission. Eames impersonates Fisher's godfather Peter Browning to suggest Fisher reconsider his father's will. Yusuf drives the van as the other dreamers are sedated into the second level. In the second level, a hotel dreamed by Arthur, Cobb convinces Fisher that he has been kidnapped by Browning and Cobb is his subconscious protector. Cobb persuades him to go down another level to explore Browning's subconscious. The third level is a snowy mountain fortress dreamed by Eames. The team has to infiltrate it and hold off the guards as Cobb takes Fisher into the equivalent of his subconscious. Yusuf, under pursuit by Fisher's projections in the first level, deliberately drives off a bridge and initiates his kick too soon. This removes the gravity of Arthur's level, forcing him to improvise a new kick that will synchronize with the van hitting the water, and causes an avalanche in Eames' level. Mal's projection emerges and kills Fisher. Cobb kills Mal, and Sato succumbs to his wounds. All three fall into limbo. While Eames sets up a kick by rigging the fortress with explosives, Cobb and Ariadne enter limbo to rescue Fisher and Sato. Cobb reveals to Ariadne that he and Mal went to limbo while experimenting with the dream-sharing technology. Sedated for a few hours of real time, they spent 50 years in dream time constructing a world from their shared memories. When Mal refused to return to reality, Cobb used a rudimentary form of Inception by reactivating her totem and reminding her subconscious that the world was not real. However, when she woke up, Mal was still convinced that she was dreaming. In an attempt to wake up for real, Mal committed suicide and framed Cobb for her death to force him to do the same. Facing a murder charge, Cobb fled the U.S., leaving his children in the care of Professor Miles. Through his confession, Cobb makes peace with his guilt over Mal's death. Ariadne kills Mal's projection and wakes Fisher up with a kick. Revived at the mountain fortress, Fisher enters a safe room to discover and accept the planted idea, a projection of his dying father telling him to be his own man. While Cobb remains in limbo to search for Sato, the other team members write the synchronized kicks back to reality. Cobb eventually finds an aged Sato in limbo and reminds him of their agreement. The dreamers all awaken on the plane and Sato makes a phone call. Upon arrival at Los Angeles Airport, Cobb passes the U.S. immigration checkpoint and Professor Miles accompanies him to his home. Cobb tests reality using his totem, a spinning top that spins indefinitely in a dream world, but ignores its result and instead joins his children in the garden. Cast: Leonardo DiCaprio as Dom Cobb, a professional thief who specializes in conning secrets from his victims by infiltrating their dreams. DiCaprio was the first actor to be cast in the film. Nolan had been trying to work with the actor for years and met him several times, but was unable to convince him to appear in any of his films until Inception. Both Brad Pitt and Will Smith were offered the role, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Arthur, Cobb's partner who manages and researches the missions, Gordon-Levitt compared Arthur to the producer of Cobb's art, the one saying, "Okay, you have your vision, now I'm going to figure out how to make all the nuts and bolts work so you can do your thing." The actor did all of his stunts but one scene and said the preparation was a challenge and it would have to be for it to look real. James Franco was in talks with Christopher Nolan to play Arthur, but was ultimately unavailable due to scheduling conflicts. Ellen Page's Ariadne, a graduate student of architecture who was recruited to construct the various dreamscapes, which are described as mazes. The name Ariadne alludes to a princess of Greek myth, daughter of King Minos, who aided the hero Theseus by giving him a sword and a ball of string to help him navigate the labyrinth which was the prison of the Minotaur. Nolan said that Page was chosen for being a perfect combination of freshness and savvy and maturity beyond her years. Page said her character acts as a proxy to the audience, as she's just learning about these ideas and, in essence, assists the audience in learning about dream sharing. Evan Rachel Wood was Christopher Nolan's first choice to play Ariadne, but she turned it down. Before Ellen Page was offered and accepted the role, Nolan considered casting Emily Blunt, Rachel McAdams, Taylor Swift, Emma Roberts, Jesse Schramm, and Carey Mulligan. Tom Hardy as Eames, a sharp-tongued associate of Cobb. He is referred to as a fence, but his specialty is forgery, more accurately identity theft. Eames uses his ability to impersonate others inside the dream world in order to manipulate Fisher. Hardy described his character as an old, Graham Greene-type diplomat, sort of faded, shabby. Grandeur, the old Shakespeare lovey mixed with somebody from Her Majesty's Special Forces, who wears campy, old-money costumes. Ken Watanabe as Mr. Sato, a Japanese businessman who employs Cobb for the team's mission. Nolan wrote the role with Watanabe in mind, as he wanted to work with him again after Batman Begins. Inception is Watanabe's first work in a contemporary setting where his primary language is English. Watanabe tried to emphasize a different characteristic of Sato in every dream level. First chapter in My Castle, I pick up some hidden feelings of the cycle. It's magical, powerful, and then the first dream, and back to the second chapter in The Old Hotel. I pick up sharp and more calm and smart, and it's a little bit different process to make up the character of any movie. Dileep Rao as Yusuf. Rao describes Yusuf as an avant-garde pharmacologist who is a resource for people like Cobb who want to do this work unsupervised, unregistered and unapproved of by anyone. Co-producer Jordan Goldberg said the role of the chemist was particularly tough because you don't want him to seem like some kind of drug dealer, and that Rao was cast for being funny, interesting and obviously smart. Cillian Murphy as Robert Michael Fisher, the heir to a business empire and the team's target. Murphy said Fisher was portrayed as a petulant child who's in need of a lot of attention from his father. He has everything he could ever want materially, but he's deeply lacking emotionally. The actor also researched the sons of Rupert Murdoch to add to that the idea of living in the shadow of someone so immensely powerful. Tom Berenger as Peter Browning, Robert Fisher's godfather and fellow executive at the Fisher's Company. Berenger said Browning acts as a surrogate father to Robert, who calls the character Uncle Peter, and emphasized that Browning has been with his whole life and has probably spent more quality time with him than his own father. Marion Cotillard as Mel Cobb, Dom's deceased wife. She is a manifestation of Dom's guilt about the real cause of Mal's suicide. He is unable to control these projections of her, challenging his abilities as an extractor. Nolan described Mal as the essence of the femme fatale, and DiCaprio praised Cotillard's performance, saying that she can be strong and vulnerable and hopeful and heartbreaking all in the same moment. which was perfect for all the contradictions of her character. Pete Postlethwaite as Morris Fisher, Robert Fisher's father and the dying founder of a business empire. Michael Caine as Professor Stephen Miles, Cobb's mentor and father-in-law, and Ariadne's college professor who recommends her to the team. Lucas Haas as Nash, an architect in Cobb's employment who betrays the team and is later replaced by Ariadne. Tallulah Riley as a woman whom Eames disguises himself as in a dream. Riley liked the role, despite it being minimal. I get to wear a nice dress, pick up men in bars, and shove them in elevators. It was good to do something adultish. Usually I play 15-year-old English schoolgirls.